This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
Following program is rated MALSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, yes, and a little bit more yeses. It does not matter who the host is. What has always mattered is who the listeners are. Anyways, today is Friday, April the 17th of 2026, and we are broadcasting from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM, and then hanging out with our friends and colleagues over there.
Join us on all major social media platforms, and we are Radio Big.
Okay, so a lot of stuff going on right now as we are hanging and doing all of our stuff. That is for sure. So if you're good, we are good as well. So let's talk real quick because I need to reference it. It is Freeform Friday. So what the hell does that mean to most? Well, that means that we are on the verge, on the group, on the lead, on the path that, hey, we're going to talk about everything that we didn't talk about earlier in the week. That's exactly what we're going to do. So if you're good with that, that's what we'll do today. We'll just go all over the place. Cover a little bit of this, cover a little bit of that, and then go into it. So if you want to interact with the show during the process, it's easy to do. So all you have to do is go to callinradio.com. That's callinradio.com. Once you get there, audio, video, and text messaging is all of the options that are readily available for you. So there you go. Once you get there, we go down the whole path, the path of Rue of everything. That's it. So audio, video, text messaging, we come across, we see everything and then move forward. So with it being Freeform Friday, as already discussed, we'll talk a little bit about everything, but don't worry because we'll be all over the place as we are talking. But what I like to do on Fridays as well, just to make sure that we are being a little, how do I say this? A little involved in the mix. Should I say that? Should I say it that way? Maybe it's that way. I don't know. We try to take a look at everything that's happened because who doesn't want to know what the hell occurred real quick. So if you're good with this, let's talk about the week in review because I think we need to see, hey, this is what's happened this week. So let's talk about that stuff.
A major blow to concert behemoth Live Nation, which owns Ticketmaster, often blasted for its high ticket prices. A jury sided with more than 30 states that argued the company is a monopolistic bully, illegally dominating the industry in one of the most high-profile antitrust cases in decades. The jury also found fans were overcharged by Ticketmaster.
Government has reportedly launched an investigation into possible insider trading pertaining to the war. Bloomberg reports that the Commodity Futures Trading Commission is looking into a series of suspicious, well-timed trades. Billions of dollars in oil and stocks futures were traded just minutes before President Trump shared major news, including the announcement of the ceasefire.
The Wall Street Journal reports the Pentagon has been talking to General Motors and Ford about helping to produce weapons and other military supplies. Those discussions reportedly began before the war in Iran. The goal is to tap into the company's workforce and factory capacity to ramp up production.
White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt did not confirm when peace talks with Iran would resume, but she said the Trump administration feels good about a potential deal.
And here we go. His year again. Rory is a rare repeat winner at Augusta.
President Trump is making headlines for bashing the Pope overnight. The president made comments following our 60 Minutes report showing how the soft-spoken Pope has become increasingly outspoken about the war in Iran.
And I'm not a big fan of Pope Leo. He's a very liberal person, and he's a man that doesn't believe in stopping crime.
All right, we have breaking news overnight from California. A top candidate for governor has suspended his campaign over sexual misconduct allegations. Democratic Congressman Eric Swalwell denies any wrongdoing. One of his accusers says she used to work in his office.
The astronauts from the Artemis II, they are speaking out about their historic moon mission.
What struck me wasn't necessarily just Earth. It was all the blackness around it.
Okay, so there you go. That is the week in review for you of exactly what has happened this week. So if you're good, I guess I'm good. So I do have my friends from Feature Story News waiting in the wings, ready to talk, ready to throw down with you. So if you're good with this, let's go ahead and get into the news right now.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in Brussels, I'm William Denslow. US President Donald Trump says the leaders of Israel and Lebanon could come to the White House in the next week or two as part of a ceasefire agreement. A 10-day ceasefire started, but it's unclear if the Iran-backed militia group in Lebanon, Hezbollah, will abide by it. Nick Harper reports from Washington.
Donald Trump seems very bullish about the next few weeks, suggesting that the president of Lebanon and the Israeli Prime Minister could be heading to the White House to agree a long-term ceasefire and deal at some point, he said, in the next week or two. This 10-day ceasefire, of course, needs to last, and it's not clear if Hezbollah in Lebanon will abide by it. But if the ceasefire stays in place and if Israel and Lebanon are able to do a deal, it could smooth the way for a deal between the US and Iran. The Iranians wanted Israel to stop its bombardment of southern Lebanon, and the White House has worked hard over the last few days to achieve that ceasefire. Meaning now Donald Trump is optimistic, suggesting he could even travel to Pakistan in the coming days, potentially for a photo opportunity and the signing of a deal with Iran. I'm Nick Harper in Washington.
Aides to UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer say he's not going to resign over the latest controversy around the appointment of Peter Mandelson as ambassador to Washington. It's emerged Mandelson was appointed to that role despite failing security vetting. The government insists no ministers were aware the Foreign Office overruled that vetting process. The top civil servant in that department, Ollie Robbins, has been sacked over the issue. Chief Secretary to the Prime Minister Darren Jones says Keir Starmer is furious.
It's hard to describe, quite frankly. I mean, I've used the word furious, but it's of a bigger scale. Given the nature of the problem here, not just in terms of the appointment, but the position that it has put the Prime Minister and cabinet ministers in as a consequence of the decision to overrule the recommendation from UK security vetting and the fact that the system even allowed for that to happen in the first place. It's of a scale of a problem that we've not experienced in government before. It is beyond unacceptable.
Hungary's election winner Peter Magyar is raising new allegations against the outgoing government. In a social media post Friday, he claimed officials may be destroying documents tied to past decisions and urged insiders to come forward. The outgoing government, led by Viktor Orban, has yet to respond to these charges. And roughly 40 nations are taking part in a summit as efforts continue to try to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. Roughly 20% of the world's oil and liquefied natural gas passes through the strategically vital waterway that's been effectively closed since the Iran conflict began. From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks. Today with more on President Trump's announcement of a ceasefire agreement in Lebanon. Will it hold? Chris Doyle is the director of the Council for Arab-British Understanding.
It's obviously very welcome news given the onslaught that Israel in particular has visited upon Lebanon that's seen, 1.2 million people forcibly displaced and over 2,000 killed. It will enable the US and Iran to go forward with their talks as well, because this had been a sticking point. But not all parties will necessarily be happy. One has to assume that Iran would have put enough pressure on Hezbollah to adhere to the ceasefire. It was Hezbollah that triggered this latest round of conflict with Israel on the 2nd of March. But also, the United States has indeed managed to pressure Prime Minister Netanyahu into agreeing as well, because he too was not keen on a ceasefire at all. Indeed, the Israeli delegation at the recent talks with the Lebanese government in Washington, historic as they were, was very clear that their mandate was only to find a full peace deal, not to get a ceasefire.
And President Trump says he will soon host face-to-face talks between Prime Minister Netanyahu and Lebanese President Joseph Aoun at the White House, though no invitation has been issued, of course, to leaders of Hezbollah, raising questions about just how much a summit can achieve.
The main news again. Donald Trump says the leaders of Israel and Lebanon could come to the White House in the next week or two as part of a ceasefire agreement. Aides to UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer say he's not going to resign over the latest controversy around the appointment of Peter Mandelson as ambassador to Washington. It emerged Mandelson was appointed despite failing security vetting. And roughly 40 nations are taking part in a summit as efforts continue to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. And that's the latest feature story news. William Denslow reporting.
Listen to our host of the Rated R Safety Show self-implode on our airwaves, only on Safety FM.
It's always amazing to me on how technology changes, and so does the environment that we're in. And cyber criminals will do everything they can to take advantage of a system. If you don't own a home, you have nothing to fear about what I'm about to tell you. But if you own a home like me and you don't guard it with home title lock, you're inviting home title fraud. One of the fastest growing crimes. Cyber thieves around the world know our home values are sky high at the moment, and that makes us a target. The crime is scary simple. Let me explain it to you real quick. A cyber thief simply forges your name on a property sale form and refiles it. That's it. Now he or she is on the deed of your home and you have no idea that you're a victim. Then the person takes out a loan on your home and vanishes, leaving you to prove to the police that you didn't commit bank fraud. Home Title Locks puts a virtual barrier around your home title. The instant they detect any kind of tampering or anybody messing around, they help shut it down. Look, if you have equity in your home, you need to guard it the best way that you can. Some people might even go as far as guarding it with their life. Go to HometitleLock.com and register your address to see if you already are a victim. And enter the code RADIO. That's RADIO. That's the code RADIO for 30 days free of protection. That's code RADIO at HometitleLock.com.
This isn't a safety manual. It's a transmission. Jay Allen, PhD, host of the Rated R Safety Show and founder of Safety FM, has spent years pulling back the curtain on the systems we work in and the ones we don't talk about. What started as a fatal crash on the 405 became a search for truth. Through behavior-based safety, human and organizational performance, simulation theory, and everything in between. Safety, in my opinion, is raw, reflective, and real. From burnout to breakthroughs, from the matrix to the moment someone says, "This doesn't feel right." This book doesn't give you answers. It hands you the signal. Safety, in my opinion. Available now, wherever books and audiobooks are found.
Listen at your own risk. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay. So let's start talking right away about some of the stuff that's going on inside of the world of the multiverse, because that's just kind of what we do. Anyways, 15 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this lovely Freeform Friday. Okay, so Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth raised eyebrows after delivering a prayer at the Pentagon worship service that sounded strictly similar to a famous monologue from Pulp Fiction, not the actual Bible verse it references. Hegseth introduced the prayer of Caesar 25-17, saying that he used combat search and rescue missions, and was inspired by Ezekiel 25:17. But as the clip circulated online, viewers quickly noticed that the wording matched the dramatic speech Samuel L. Jackson delivers in the 1994 Quentin Tarantino film far more closely than the biblical text. In the movie, Jackson's character recites a stylized, fictionalized version before a shooting scene. Hegseth's version swapped the military reference, including the call sign Sandy one. The actual King James Bible verse is much shorter and a different tone, leading to many online to point out the resemblance of the two. So take a listen to this.
And I will strike down upon thee with great vengeance and furious anger those who attempt to capture and destroy my brother. And you will know my call sign is Sandy 1.
And I will strike down upon thee with great vengeance and furious anger those who attempt to poison and destroy my brothers. And you will know my name is the Lord.
So, there you go. So, sometimes it's kind of important to vet some stuff to make sure what you're actually going through in regards to talking about some of the stuff. If not, something like this happens. So there you go. Anyways, Al Roker talked with the Artemis II astronauts. Here's what he had to say, Victor Glover, on what it was like entering the atmosphere.
Breaking through Earth's atmosphere, the capsule's heat shield, protecting them from 5,000-degree temperatures. We were all holding our breath. We'd heard about the heat shield, and so this moment is coming. And it happened. What was happening as we were watching you come through?
I haven't spent a lot of time processing all of this, so I could tell that we were inside a fireball. But Reed and I had panoramic view.
We really did.
And the very first thing I thought was, is it supposed to be that big? I mean, it was a lot of fire out there. But then there was a red glow in the orange, a very distinct red and bigger plume. I was hypersensitive to everything, every noise, every sensation.
I mean, think about that for a moment. You're riding a fireball on the way back in, so yeah, it's going to get kind of weird. So then he talked to Christine Koch and when the hatch opened and how she felt about it. Take a listen.
That hatch opens up. What was that like?
It was visceral. I was completely overcome and I just screamed. I was so happy, and just a visceral emotional reaction to not only being home, but people there coming to us and bringing us out. Just unspeakable joy.
I mean, I think about it. I get locked up in my house for a day and I'm kind of going crazy. I can't imagine being in a ship, if we can, name it that way. And, essentially, not being able to get out for 10 days. And you're just kind of, roaming around there, doing some weird stuff. So there you go. Okay, so take a listen to this. A top ER doctor accused of doing drugs and drinking on the job, but she's still allowed to operate. So take a listen to this, because, when you think it's getting strange, it can't get any stranger than some of the stuff that we're going to talk about. So listen, I don't know how to cover it, but we're going to discuss it anyways. San Diego ER doctor is under strict monitoring after allegedly showing up to work impaired, slurring her speech, and behaving erratically while treating patients. Yeah, that could definitely be an issue. According to the Medical Board of California reports that Dr. Ariana Dillman displayed slurred speech, droopy eyelids, and erratic behavior during a June emergency room shift. When asked to take a drug test on the spot, she refused. The board alleges that she used used controlled substances or alcohol in a way that could compromise patient safety. A psychiatrist has since diagnosed her with alcohol use disorder, and her hospital has suspended her privileges. Despite the allegations, Dillman is still allowed to practice, but only under close supervision, with mandatory random drug and alcohol testing required to support the group attendance and a ban of controlled substances. A patient safety advocate told reporters that cases like this are becoming more common and argued that California needs stricter standards for doctors found impaired on the job. Meanwhile, Dillman's name now appears on the staff list of Karma Massage and Spa, where the associated with a cosmetic treatment like Botox and fillers. So imagine going to for stitches and getting a plot twist instead, because there you go. That's going to be one of those things. So there you go. There you go. So you want to hear something weird? I got some more weird because, like I told you,
it's Freeform Friday, so we have to get the fuck all of these things in.
Okay, so a 46-year-old guy in China somehow swallowed a 12-centimeter metal chopstick. Yes, the whole thing. And instead of panicking like a normal human, he lived with it for 8 years. And he had occasional pain and something definitely is not supposed to be there feeling, but decided that surgery sounded worse than having utensils parked in your throat. Eventually, the pain got too intense. He went to the hospital's doctor, took the x-ray, and probably questioned their career choices. Luckily, they were able to remove it with a minimally invasive surgery. No neck cutting required. He's now recovering chopstick-free and presumably switching to forks. 8 years, that's not a medical condition. That's a long-term relationship when you start thinking about it. I mean, how crazy is that when you start thinking about all that stuff? So there you go. There you go. Okay, so let's get a little bit weirder here, because why would we not do this? A shoplifter in the UK sparked a viral supermarket showdown after trying to sneak thousands of dollars worth of steaks and Tesco extra stuffed inside an overpacked backpack. A security guard spotted the man acting suspicious and intercepted him downward on the escalator, triggering a bizarre slow-motion tug-of-war as the two grappled for the bag and finally burst open, sending dozens of vacuum-sealed steaks flying across the floor and meaty carpet. According to the witnesses, this would have been if the thief would have just ditched the loot and sprinted out of the store before police arrived. The clip has more than 400,000 views. With comments joking such as burger lair, and noting that meat theft is skyrocketing. A recent UK retail crime report even named steaks as the most stolen item in the country. Duh. So think about that. I mean, that's when you know that the price of beef is getting out of control. That this is becoming something that is normal now. So there you go. Okay, so take a listen to this one because it gets interesting. A heartbreaking story out of India has sparked national outrage and renewed debate over dangerous superstitions. A 13-year-old boy named Amit died after being bitten by a snake, not because the medical help wasn't available, but because his family followed the instructions of a local witch doctor. Instead of taking him to the hospital, they tied him to a bamboo poles and kept him submerged in a Ganges River for 12 hours, believing that the holy water would cure him. By the time they finally sought medical care, it was too late. Health officials say that the constant warm villages that snake bites require immediate treatment, and that Amit's was preventable death has led to many to call for accountability. Police have not yet said whether if charges will be filed. So there you go. Some stuff to think about as we are talking. And because we're in radio, this is the only reason I'm going to talk about this. If not, I probably wouldn't even mention this. WKRP is finally coming back to Cincinnati for real. DP McIntyre, who runs the media nonprofit, currently auctioned off the famous call letters and says the deal is done, even if he can't legally spill the details yet. I can't tell you when or who, he told the AP, but WKRP is coming back to Cincinnati. Book it. The call letters, of course, became an iconic thanks to CBS sitcom WKRP in Cincinnati, 1978 to 1982, which turned Laurie Anderson, Richard Sanders, and the rest of the cast into households names. For McIntyre, the WKRP wasn't just a show, it was a calling. After watching the first episode as a kid, he announced that to his family that he would one day work in radio and run a station called WKRP. He got his first on-air job at 13, and decades later in 2014, his nonprofit unexpectedly secured the WKRP call letters from the FCC. That's how WKRP LP 101.9 FM was born in Raleigh, North Carolina, a tiny low-powered station broadcasting from McIntyre's own home. The transmitter sits in his garage. The antenna is mounted in the backyard flagpole, and the studio is a simple setup on the first floor. The format, a throwback to mixes of 70s, 80s, and 90s, plus quickly shows like Weird Al and Friends. And after more than a decade, McIntyre and his team are handling the reins to a younger generation that isn't interested in running a radio station. The WKRP call letters, including the TV and digital versions, went up for bid, with the proceeds going towards a new nonprofit aimed at helping the future broadcasters. One of the previous deals fell through, but McIntyre says that Cincinnati agreement is locked in. He can't reveal anything yet, except it will be radio. The WKRP in Cincinnati TV theme posted on the TV themes pages. So there you go. In regards of if you go to their website. So a lot of stuff going on right there. So what do you think here? I'm just asking. So I'm just asking because I want to understand. Okay, I'm going to give you this one. Do I want to give you this one? Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to give you anything there. Let's get into some serious business because I'm going to catch some shit for not saying anything else in regards of what's going on. So take a listen to this. A federal judge has again blocked the above ground construction of President Trump's planned $400 million White House ballroom, ruling that the project could not move forward without explicit authorization from the Congress. U.S. District Court Judge Richard J. Leon said the administration attempted to classify the entire ballroom and security-related work, and therefore exempt from his earlier injunction was incredible, if not disingenuous. Leon classified that his order only halts the above-ground construction, below-ground security facility structural protections, and work needed to be safeguarded in the White House grounds are still allowed to continue. The ruling came after the National Trust for Historic Preservation expanded its lawsuit, arguing the administration began demolition of the East Wing without congressional approval. So there you go. What a cluster, huh? Duh. Okay, so let's continue talking real quick. The FBI is now analyzing new DNA evidence recovered from Nancy Guthrie's Arizona home. Materials investigators believe that it could be a major breakthrough in the search for the missing mother of Today's Show host Savannah Guthrie. According to ABC News, the federal agents recently received a sample from a private Florida lab that works with Pima County Sheriff's Department. The upgraded testing uses advanced technology and it is aimed to identify whoever was inside of Nancy's home the night that she was taken. Investigators have already confirmed that the blood found on the porch belongs to Nancy, and they've been working for weeks to interpret the mixed DNA sample containing generic material from more than one person. A type of evidence experts say is far more difficult to separate into individual profiles. Sheriff Chris Nanos has acknowledged acknowledged the challenges, but says that the team remains hopeful that the samples will eventually point to somebody. Even if it takes months. Authorities have also explored whether the kidnapper may have had an accomplice based on the complexity of the scene and the masked armed figure caught on surveillance tampering with Nancy's doorbell camera early on February the 1st. So there you go. Wow, a lot of stuff going on still with that case as we keep on talking about it months afterwards. One was hoping that it would have been quicker, that something would have already occurred, but unfortunately that is not the case currently as we are talking. So there you go. Okay. So let's talk about this. Massive celebrations broke across Lebanon as a 10-day ceasefire with Israel officially took effect. The agreement was announced the day before by President Trump, who called it a historic day after officials from Israel and Lebanon held the first diplomatic meeting in more than 30 years. As the ceasefire began, erupted with celebratory gunfire, because when you have a ceasefire, that's what you fucking want to do, is do some gunfire, fireworks, and crowds filling the streets. Families who fled the southern Lebanon began returning home in long car caravans, waving flags and cheering as they made their way back. The ceasefire is seen as the key step in a broader U.S. effort to secure a peace deal with Iran, which has said that it would not continue negotiations unless Israel paused its fighting with Lebanon. However, the situation remains tense. Israel says that it is not part of the agreement and it has vowed to keep its forces in southern Lebanon, maintaining a 6-mile security zone. Israelis officials say that they will respond if threatened, while Hezbollah insists that the Israelis' presence gives Lebanon the right to resist, according to the U.S. Department. Israel may defend itself against imminent and ongoing attacks, but otherwise must halt offensive operations against Lebanese targets. So there you go. A lot of stuff. I just don't get it, man. I don't get what's going on in the world today with everything that is happening is just in this world right now. It's just like all over the place when it's all said and done. What do you think here? I mean, like, what is your general opinion when it's all said and done? I'm just asking the question because I always want to have a better understanding, opposed to it just kind of looking around and going, hey, I don't know. So I don't know. Just something to think about. So what are your thoughts? No, like, seriously, like, what are your thoughts about the whole thing? Like, do you see how many things are going on in the world at one time that are war-related? Kind of an interesting one. If you really start thinking about it, it's not one of those things that you just go, hey, it's just in one place. Nope. It seems to be a little bit of everywhere. Anyways, with that being said, 32 minutes past the top of the hour. Let's get you back into some news.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in Brussels, I'm William Denslow. US President Donald Trump says the leaders of Israel and Lebanon could come to the White House in the next week or two as part of a ceasefire agreement. A 10-day ceasefire started, but it's unclear if the Iran-backed militia group in Lebanon, Hezbollah, will abide by it. Nick Harper reports from Washington.
Donald Trump seems very bullish about the next few weeks, suggesting that the president of Lebanon and the Israeli Prime Minister could be heading to the White House to agree a long-term ceasefire and deal at some point, he said, in the next week or two. This 10-day ceasefire, of course, needs to last, and it's not clear if Hezbollah in Lebanon will abide by it. But if the ceasefire stays in place and if Israel and Lebanon are able to do a deal, it could smooth the way for a deal between the US and Iran. The Iranians wanted Israel to stop its bombardment of southern Lebanon, and the White House has worked hard over the last few days to achieve that ceasefire. Meaning now Donald Trump is optimistic, suggesting he could even travel to Pakistan in the coming days, potentially for a photo opportunity and the signing of a deal with Iran. I'm Nick Harper in Washington.
Aides to UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer say he's not going to resign over the latest controversy around the appointment of Peter Mandelson as ambassador to Washington. It's emerged Mandelson was appointed to that role despite failing security vetting. The government insists no ministers were aware the Foreign Office overruled that vetting process. The top civil servant in that department, Ollie Robbins, has been sacked over the issue. Chief Secretary to the Prime Minister, Darren Jones, says Keir Starmer is furious.
It's hard to describe, quite frankly. I mean, I've used the word furious, but it's of a bigger scale. Given the nature of the problem here, not just in terms of the appointment, but the position that it has put the Prime Minister and cabinet ministers in as a consequence of the decision to overrule the recommendation from UK security vetting and the fact that the system even allowed for that to happen in the first place. It's of a scale of a problem that we've not experienced in government before. It is beyond unacceptable.
Hungary's election winner Peter Magyar is raising new allegations against the outgoing government. In a social media post Friday, he claimed officials may be destroying documents tied to past decisions and urged insiders to come forward. The outgoing government, led by Viktor Orban, has yet to respond to these charges. And roughly 40 nations are taking part in a summit as efforts continue to try to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. Roughly 20% of the world's oil and liquefied natural gas passes through the strategically vital waterway that's been effectively closed since the Iran conflict began. From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks. Today with more on President Trump's announcement of a ceasefire agreement in Lebanon. Will it hold? Chris Doyle is the director of the Council for Arab-British Understanding.
It's obviously very welcome news given the onslaught that Israel in particular has visited upon Lebanon that's seen, 1.2 million people forcibly displaced and over 2,000 killed. It will enable the US and Iran to go forward with their talks as well, because this had been a sticking point. But not all parties will necessarily be happy. One has to assume that Iran would have put enough pressure on Hezbollah to adhere to the ceasefire. It was Hezbollah that triggered this latest round of conflict with Israel on the 2nd of March. But also, the United States has indeed managed to pressure Prime Minister Netanyahu into agreeing as well, because he too was not keen on a ceasefire at all. Indeed, the Israeli delegation at the recent talks with the Lebanese government in Washington, historic as they were, was very clear that their mandate was only to find a full peace deal, not to get a ceasefire.
And President Trump says he will soon host face-to-face talks between Prime Minister Netanyahu and Lebanese President Joseph Aoun at the White House, though no invitation has been issued, of course, to leaders of Hezbollah, raising questions about just how much a summit can achieve.
The main news again. Donald Trump says the leaders of Israel and Lebanon could come to the White House in the next week or two as part of a ceasefire agreement. Aides to UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer say he's not going to resign over the latest controversy around the appointment of Peter Mandelson as ambassador to Washington. It emerged Mandelson was appointed despite failing security vetting. And roughly 40 nations are taking part in a summit as efforts continue to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. And that's the latest feature story news. William Denslow reporting.
Tearing the ass out of you like gas station sushi.
This portion of the show has been sponsored by Private Internet Access, America's #1 virtual private network, or VPN. Even if you use incognito mode, internet service providers is storing your browser data and many times even selling it. But Private Internet Access, or PIA, can help you. PIA encrypts and reroutes your internet traffic through one of its own servers, hiding your data from your internet service provider or network admin. And with servers in over 75 countries, you can get unrestricted access to geo-blocked content from around the world. PIA comes with easy-to-use apps and browsers extension for all devices, a rock-solid privacy policy, open source security, advanced customization settings, and it was just ranked the fastest VPN in the world by PC Magazine. And if you sign up right now with PIA, you can take advantage of a special deal only for Safety FM listeners. Only by using the following link, you can get the digital privacy for less than $2 a month. Yes, you did hear me correctly. Less than $2 a month and an extra 4 months for free. So that means for only $1.98 a month and 83% off, you can get this service for you right now. That's so much more inexpensive than virtually every other VPN on the market. And if you get it right now, you can take PIA's 30-day risk-free challenge. You can try it out for 30 days, see if you like it, and if not, just return it for a full refund. So just go to safetyfm.com/VPN. That's safetyfm.com/VPN to try out the best VPN on the planet completely risk-free. Now remember, safetyfm.com/VPN.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hacked? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
If you're anything like me, you have certain tendencies to put things off, such as filing taxes, seeing the doctor, working on that home improvement project that you're supposed to be doing, but you just haven't gotten to it. And while most of the times it works out, the one thing in life that you really cannot afford to wait on is setting up term coverage life insurance. You've probably seen life insurance commercials on TV and thought, yeah, I'll look into it later. Well, the answer is no. This isn't something that you can wait for. Choose life insurance through Ladder today. Ladder is 100% digitals, no doctors, no needles, no paperwork. When you apply for $3 million in coverage or less, just answer a few questions about your health in an application. Ladder's customers rate them 4.8 out of 5 stars on Trustpilot, and they've made Forbes' best life insurance in 2021's list. You just need a few minutes and a phone or a laptop to apply. Ladder's smart algorithm works in real time, so you'll find out if you're instantly approved. No hidden fees, cancel anytime, get full refund if you change your mind in the first 30 days. Ladder policies are issued by insurers with long proven histories of paying claims. They're rated A and A+ by AM Best. Finally, since life insurance costs more as you age, now is the time to cross it off your list. So go to ladder.com/safetyfm today to see if you're instantly approved. That's LADDER life.com/safetyfm. Ladderlife.com/safetyfm.
What if everything we thought we knew about safety was just interference? From the host of the Rated R Safety Show and the founder of Safety FM comes the complete signal transmission trilogy, now available in one powerful edition. Safety, in my opinion, the book that started the conversation. Safety Mutation, where the boundaries of culture, systems, and belief begin to break. And now, Safety Transmission, the final piece of the signal. For the first time, all 3 books are together in one volume. The Signal Transmission Trilogy, Complete Edition. This isn't just about compliance. It's about consciousness. It's about decoding the way we think, lead, and live, inside and outside the system. Whether you've been following the signal since the beginning or you're just now tuning in, this is the version to own. Search Signal Trilogy on Amazon or visit safetyfm.com to get your copy now.
Hey there, Jay Allen here with Safety FM, where we just don't talk about safety, we live it. And when it comes to safeguarding your future, there's no better partner than Acorns.
This part of the show has been brought to you by Acorns and a powerful tool that makes saving and investing easier than ever. We all know that investing can feel overwhelming, especially with busy lives and no time to dive into the nitty-gritty of financial markets, but Acorns changes the game. With Acorns, you don't need to be a financial expert or have a hefty sum of money to get started. In fact, Acorns lets you begin with just spare change. All about those small steps, small investments today that can build into something much bigger over time. Acorns recommends that the expert build portfolio designed to fit financial goals. Then it does the heavy lifting for you by automatically investing your money. It's like having a financial advisor in your pocket working around the clock to help your money grow. So why wait? Head over to acorns.com/safetyfm or download the Acorns app and take that first step towards securing your future today. Remember, in the world of safety and investing, small actions today can lead to mighty outcomes tomorrow. Paid non-client endorsement. Compensation provides an incentive to positively promote Acorns. Investing involves risk. Acorns Advisors, LLC, and SEC registered investment advisors. View important disclosures at acorn.com/safetyfm. At Safety FM, we're all about making smart decisions on the job and in life. So take control of your financial future. This is Jay Allen reminding you to stay safe, stay smart, and invest in your tomorrow.
What do guys like besides pizza and morning sex?
Jay Allen in the morning.
It's so bizarre and unnatural.
It's all good. On radio, big.
Oh, it gets lonely in this gangster's paradise. Oh, hurry up and quit pretending like I came for nothing tonight. I said I need your love.
Okay, currently 45 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out. We're getting to do all the fun stuff that we get to do, no doubt about that. This right here, Miss Fahrenheit.
So eat me alive.
This is from the Clans. A lot of stuff going on inside of the world of the multiverse as we are speaking, talking, and hanging out. So there you go. Lot of stuff. So this song's readily available on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music, and Pandora. I wonder if things were to transition if I would only have to mention Pandora. We'll leave that for a different day. Okay, so let's continue talking, because that's what we do around here. We talk a little bit about everything that is going on inside of the world of the multi. Yeah. So thanks to Clans for allowing us to play this here on the Rated R Safety Show. No doubt about that, as we are doing our thing. So let's talk about this real quick, because this might be the most important thing that I ever tell you in my lifetime, and that's about my friends at To Write Love on Her Arms. No matter what you're facing, you deserve to be connected to help, and we want you to know that people have been where you are now and that healing is possible. Things can get better. Find out more information. All you have to do is go to TWLOHA.com. That's TWLOHA.com and click on the section that says Find Help. Once you get there, you're going to see information related to addiction, depression, anxiety, eating disorder, self-injury, suicide, trauma, and grief support, just to name a few. That's TWLOHA.com, To Write Love on Her Arms. So, let's do this. Let's move forward. Let's talk a little bit about everything that's going on, because we should probably do that if you do not mind. So let me tell you about this portion first, and then we'll get into some other things, because I normally do it the other way around. But today is Friday, so what does that mean? That means new movies come out. Mother Mary starring Anne Hathaway, Michelle Cole, and Hunter Schafer. Long Buried Wounds rise to the surface when iconic pop star Mother Mary reunites with her estranged best friends and former costume designer. So on the eve of their comeback performance, it's rated R, hitting theaters today. Also, Lee Cronin's The Mummy, starring Jack Reller and May Calloway. The young daughter of a journalist disappears in the desert without a trace. So there you go. That hits the theaters today. Rated R. Also, Normal hits the theaters today, starring Bob Ortigan and Ryan Allen. Centers around the temporary small-town sheriff who uncovers a dark mystery after a local bank robbery. Rated R, hitting the movie theaters today. Apparently, it's just a rated R kind of day. Also, Bus Boys, starring David Spade. That hits today. A pair of idiot friends believe that if they become waiters, all of their problems will be solved. They ain't entirely wrong either. So there you go. That's in theaters today. And after, let's see, this one's called Glenashwarton, starring Brian Cox. After 35 years abroad, Donnell returns to his native Scotland to make amends with his estranged brother, Sandy. So there you go. That's what's hitting the movie theaters. So there you go. Anyways, let me tell you about this because July will be here way sooner than what you think. Let's talk about this. We're doing reality shifts hitting July the 13th in Orlando, Florida. We're going to be having some discussions and some documentary viewing at a movie theater here locally in Orlando. And would love for you to come out and hang out. We're going to have Nick Weatherly there talking about behavior-based safety, Todd Conklin discussing, listen to me, Todd Conklin discussing human and organizational performance, and I will be there talking about Signal. So we'd love for you to come out, hang out, and do the fun stuff with us. And then we'll have a documentary inside of there. Keep in mind that this is a movie theater that we're doing this in, way different than anything that we've ever done before. So we would love to have you come out and hang out with us on the day, July the 13th in Orlando. Yes, it is a Monday, just in case if you're wondering why Monday. That way you can hang out the weekend in Ghetto Orlando if you wanted to do that before the event itself. So come out, hang out, scan the QR code that's on the screen, or if not, go to safetyfm.io, and that will do everything right there as we are talking. So if you're good with it, I'm good with it. We can move forward inside of everything that is going on inside of the world of the multiverse. So what do you think? Nothing. Okay, so with that being said, why don't we go ahead and do this? Why don't we bring some John Small into our life and let him tell us about what in the heck is going on with the Motivation Minute.
Courtesy of JaceCaseMedical.com. Today's quote was submitted by Vicky. F. Scott Fitzgerald said, "Let us learn to show our friendship for a man when he is alive and not after he is dead." This is a line by a character in the book, The Great Gatsby. That book was one I had to read when I was a kid. I didn't really like to read, so I was not a huge fan. Now, if I were to read it today, I'm sure I would appreciate it a whole lot more. I actually kind of like to read now. Sadly, I don't give myself much time to read. But let's get back to the quote. Have you ever lost a friend that died quickly? Somebody who left us before you had a chance to tell them how much they mean to you? Well, maybe you should say it now. Reach out this week to let somebody know that they made a big influence in your life. Tell them they're a happy memory from your past. Let them know that they did something cool for you and you really appreciate it. Don't wait.
The Motivation Minute.
This has been the Motivation Minute. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
Russian missiles slammed into Kyiv on Thursday, killing 3 civilians and wounding dozens more in residential zones.
Ukrainian defenses downed several projectiles, but fires raged through apartment blocks and a market area. Officials blame Moscow for escalating attacks, despite global calls for restraint. Rescue teams dug through rubble for survivors into the night. Benjamin Wright reporting.
Severe storms battered the Midwest on Thursday with large hail, damaging winds, and multiple tornado sightings across 4 states.
Millions braced for another round as the system churns eastward toward major cities. Emergency crews cleared debris from flooded roads and shattered roofs in hard-hit towns. No deaths reported yet, but power outages affected thousands. Lawrence Keller reporting.
Former Virginia Lieutenant Governor Justin Fairfax fatally shot his wife, then himself, Thursday in their home, with their teenage children witnessing the horror.
Police Chief Kevin Davis said the son called 911. Both parents died from the same gun.
Fairfax, once a rising Democrat star derailed by assault claims, was divorcing at the time. The tragedy stunned local leaders and reignited talk of mental health support. Kyle Norris reporting.
U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance called for a grand bargain with Iran as stalled peace talks hint at possible revival this week.
Iran dismissed reports of new negotiations, insisting no deals exist after prior rounds collapsed. Trump administration sources say flexibility remains if Tehran curbs nuclear ambitions and proxy militias. Regional tensions simmer despite the diplomatic buzz. Gary Beck reporting.
A suspect faces charges in a brutal Atlanta suburb spree that claimed 2 lives, including a Homeland Security worker out walking her dog early Thursday.
Police linked the Decatur shooting to attacks in Brookhaven and Panthersville, leaving a homeless man critically wounded. The UK-born U.S. citizen waived his first court appearance amid heightened federal interest. Investigators combed scenes for motives in the random violence. Jessica Oakley reporting.
Israel and Lebanon struck a fragile 10-day ceasefire deal amid ongoing border clashes and fierce airstrikes.
President Donald Trump announced the agreement after intense diplomatic efforts involving key regional players. Details remain sparse, but both sides pledged to pull back forces and halt rocket fire immediately. Violations could trigger swift retaliation, officials warn. Chris Anderson reporting.
And that's the latest news headlines with Alan Edwards.
Tearing the ass out of you like gas station sushi.
Oh, you gotta love when the news cuts out early. Okay, so anyways, currently 54 minutes past the top of the hour. Let's talk real quick about some things that are happening, or should I say that are happening, or that have happened back on this day. That's probably what I should have said. So let's go ahead and talk about that, because that is the beauty of the whole sequence of the thing. So let's talk about today's in history. If I take a look around back in 1964, let's see, Ford Mustang formally introduced a base model for $2,368. In 1970, the Apollo 13 limps back safely. Beach-built oxygen tank with no help. Also in 1973, Federal Express delivered its first package. In 1986, IBM produces the first megabit. Yes, I did say megabit chip. Back in 1993, police officers found guilty for violating Rodney King's civil rights. And that's about, let's see. That's about it. That's about it. What happened back on this date. Okay, so let's talk about some birthdays that are going on today. Celebrity birthdays. John Hammer turns 78. Liz Phair turns 59. Redman, you know, the rapper actor, turns 56. Jennifer Gardner turns 54. And Victoria Beckham turns 52 today. So there you go. That's some birthdays going on for you. Also, let's talk about some things that you ought to know. Just a reminder that the National Pot Smoker Day is on Monday. Just want you to be prepared. No, like seriously, be prepared. Also, NASCAR, the Advent Health 400 NASCAR race airs Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern on Fox from Kansas City Speedway. Also, Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney moved quickly in his first major act after winning the majority government, announcing that he is suspending the federal fuel excise tax on gasoline, diesel, and aviation fuel. Carney said Tuesday that the sharp spike in fuel prices tied to the Iran war require immediate relief for consumers. The suspension takes effect next Monday and will remain in place until Labor Day, which is September the 7th, just in case. Also, tonight's Mega Million jackpot is an estimated $130 million. Tomorrow, Powerball jackpot is estimated at $75 million. Also, yesterday, the House passed a bill to extend temporary protected status for people from Haiti who have been living in the United States through 2029. Also, prosecutors in Minnesota charged immigrations and custom enforcement officers with 2 counts of second-degree assault yesterday for alleged pointing his weapon at 2 people. Hennepin County Attorney Mary Marader said that the nationwide arrest has been issued for Agent Gregory Donald Morgan Jr. So there you go. And also, WrestleMania 42 is taking place this weekend, Saturday and Sunday, starting at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Just so you know. So we'll see what happens there. Anyways, that's it. That's going to sum up our time today for the show. At the top of the hour, I will be going over to radiobig.fm if you want to come and hang out with me for the next couple hours or so. If not, that's perfectly fine. You can hang out here with the likes of Sheldon Primus on Safety FM as he talks about the world of safety consulting. So a lot of stuff going on inside of the world of the multiverse. No doubt about that. Anyways, if I can leave you with some words of wisdom for today, I would love to leave you with this. If you wait for the perfect moment, you'll miss the powerful one that's already in front of you. So there you go. And if you need some advice for the day, stop assuming that people know what you need. Say it clearly, calmly, and confidently. Communication saves relationships, time, and sanity. So some things to think about as we are talking. Anyways, I know who you are. You know who I am. Love you, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed during this broadcast, podcast, or radio show are solely those of the host and guests and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Safety FM and or Radio Big. The content discussed, including examples of analysis, is provided for illustrative purposes only. It should not be applied as the sole solution in real-world scenarios, as it is based on limited and dated open source information. Any assumptions made during this broadcast, podcast, or radio show are not reflective of Safety FM and or Radio Big. No portion of this broadcast, podcast, or radio show may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, electronic, mechanical, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of Safety FM and or Radio Big. For permission requests, please contact Safety FM or Radio Big directly.